Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Starting at 8. We're looking good, looking fine. Hopefully, I don't jinx myself. But I want to welcome everybody into the show tonight. We got a great show for you this evening. I'm going to get the Facebook site up so I can actually get everybody's comments and everybody's questions, and we could go from there. So just give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, and we will get started. And hopefully you guys got your questions and ready to go. We're up now. Look, okay, good. Okay. Um, the Steelers, which I didn't think they were going to. I thought they signed everybody they needed to sign, but Omar Khan is still working his magic. And as of last week, the Steelers signed a whole bunch of players, and we're going to get on to that here momentarily. But I want to say that the Steelers had their last pre-draft visit, where they had players come in that they could be selectively looking towards the draft, which will be very, very soon. And we are going to have a mega cast with my buddies, the Steelers Realm podcast, and we were going to go live draft like we did last year, going up to when the Pittsburgh Steelers take their pick. So they had they had the tight end of Georgia's Darnell Washington come in yesterday to come in, see the sights and say whatever. Steve Schatz, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show. So they also doing some their due diligence. The Steelers have had a lot of visits of some receivers that came in town for some pre-draft visits. One was Tennessee's Cedric Tillman, Ohio Miss Jonathan Mingo, West Virginia's Bryce Ford Wheaton. Boothie, what's up? What's going on? Michigan State's Jaden Reed and Purdue's Charlie Jones. They had all these receivers come in for a pre-visit to see the Steelers facility, to meet with Tomlin, and we don't know if they will draft a receiver due to the fact of this news that happened yesterday. But I want to talk about the guys that they have signed last week. So the Steelers made some competition in our punting department, a little bit more status quo, where Percy Harvin has to kick a little better. He's got some competition. The Steelers signed punter Braden Mann, who was cut by the Jets. Mann was a third-round pick of the Jets in 2020. He's out of Texas A&M, and he's going to be some competition with Mr. Harvin. But he is best remembered for punting with 5 seconds to go with the Jets against the shitty-ass New England Patriots, where they had their first punt return for the touchdown last season, giving the Patriots a 10-3 victory. So that is his claim to fame. Maybe he gives some competition to Mr. Harvin, and he will be carrying a $1 million salary, where Harvin, who's a Steeler right now, is scheduled to make $940,000. So actually, Mann is Preston to make a little bit more. So that'll be controversy right there. And competition makes people better, and hopefully they get some competition, because lately our punters have not been doing too well. The Steelers also signed linebacker and safety Tanner Muse, 6'2", 227 pounds, safety out of Clemson. Third-round pick of the Raiders in 2020. He never played for him. He got hurt. They cut him. He was picked up. Wayne Taylor, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show. He was picked up by the Seattle Seahawks in 2021. He played all 17 games for the Seahawks last year. He was 70% on special teams, but he only played, get this, guys, he only played 80 snaps on defense. So I believe he's going to be a special teams kind of guy. Chris, thanks for tuning into the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show. If you guys have any questions, comments, please go on the social Facebook, and I will actually say it to the crowd because I got the YouTube stuff on one side, the Facebook side on the other. I got my papers and pen, and I'm ready to go. And we got a lot of stuff going on because the draft is coming. Now the Steelers made a huge like Omar Khan is just he's a magician. The Steelers yesterday traded with the Los Angeles Rams for receiver Allen Robinson. Now, the Steelers, this is what the Steelers were sending. They sent their 7th round pick, which is the 234th pick, to the Rams. Okay, for Robinson and a 7th round selection. The Rams will pay $10.2 million of Robinson's salary. Hey, Kelly, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the hook for $5 million. Pretty cheap, people, as you're going to sign this receiver of this caliber. I know he had an off season, and I'll get to that. He's going to be going on to be, he's 29 years old right now. He actually passed the physical, so now he is a Steeler officially. Okay, but he was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2nd round in the 2014 NFL draft. He came out of Penn State, people. He played for Penn State College. He's a local guy. So he played for the Jags for 4 seasons from 2014 to 2017. This is the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who didn't have a damn quarterback. Okay, his breakout year was in 2015. He had 80 receptions, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns that year, and was a Pro Bowl for the first time as a Pro Bowl selection. Benjamin, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much, Craig from Patton. Thank you, Craig. Thank you. I try, Craig. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Now, he did play for the Bears in 2018 to 2021. He had a little bit of a couple seasons. He had played pretty good. He signed a big contract in 2022 with the Rams. It was huge. It was like $40 million, I believe. Now, last year with the Rams now, you got to remember, guys, the Rams had a shitty team last year. It didn't even matter who was quarterback and who was taking center, who was running the ball. They had a bad team last year. He had 33 receptions for 339 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he went out with a foot injury. But now the Steelers, he passed the physical, so he's ready to go. Now, his career stats is 528 yards, 6,748 yards, and 43 touchdowns. Wayne says it was a good pick. You know what, Wayne? I kind of agree with you because it's only going to be for $5 million. We needed some veteran leadership as a receiver core. I'm not a big Dante Johnson fan because he didn't get any touchdowns last year, Wayne, which was terrible at $18 million. You got to produce. Hopefully, they're not going to trade. I don't think they're going to trade Dante. I don't think they're going to trade. Boothie says, I hope he shows up and puts out. Yes, I hope so too. We have a lot of receivers, and I'll have to go over the receiving department next week. That'll give me something to do before we go to the draft. You know, that and some linemen, offense. I did some defense linemen on the last week's show. Next week, I'll do some receivers and offensive linemen because I like to do a little bit of stuff before we get for the draft. Oh, Benjamin, I got the Steelers are going to score 42 points per game this year. I appreciate Benjamin, you're high again. I appreciate that. I don't know if they'll score 42. Matt Canada has to be try to be a competent offensive coordinator because he's going to make me old and gray because I'm not real happy with Matt Canada. But Benjamin, I'll be happy with 24 points at average. That's what I'd be happy with. 24 points averaging, and hopefully our Steelers defense, which was coming around last year, because you guys got to remember 7-2 in that latter part of the season. If we had beat the Jets or New England, we would have been in the playoffs last year. But this year's a new year. I understand that. Boothie says the offense is looking good. Yes. And if we probably, I don't know if we're going to draft. I don't know if we'll draft. I don't know if we'll draft any. I don't think we're going to draft any. I don't know. Now, I was going to think about a week ago, Booth, we would have drafted a receiver, but I think with this trade, I don't think so. Wayne says, just win 24 points sounds good. Thank you. Maria, thanks for tuning into the Triple B experience. Yeah, I think 24 would be good. And if Boswell can get some points because he had a rough year last year, and if the Boz is back to being healthy as he was a couple years ago, we could be taking some time off the clock with Kenny Pickett. I do believe now. Benjamin said that Kenny Pickett was going to throw touchdowns on one of these shows, if I remember correctly. I'll give Kenny 20 to 25 touchdowns this year. Right now, with what we have, including Pat Freiermuth and including throwing out into the backfield. So, I mean, I believe that the Steelers know since they signed Robinson, they don't need to draft a receiver. They could fill some needs on defense and offensive line and get some corner. I believe with Anthony Miller and Calvin Austin III coming back from that injury, that is a key component in this offense that we have no clue on how he's going to participate. So he is what's the word I'm looking for? He's a diamond in the rough, and it could be potluck with Calvin Austin III. I believe that Robinson will probably be the second or third receiver, and Pickens should be the number one. I try, Wayne. I don't want to get too crazy, Wayne, because I'm a diehard Steeler fan, and I love to see Kenny throw for 30, 35 touchdowns, but I got to be realistic here. Joe Betts, good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. DJ's going to feel like, yeah. I would just hope he gets, I would say 5 to 8 touchdowns. I'm good. Just let's get, well, you know what? Let's get the first one first, Joe. Let's get the first one. First one would be great. He had many opportunities and he misses a lot of big catches, but for $18 million, he is not worth it in my eyes. He's just not worth it. I agree. We could pick up someone later and cheap. We're set with some skill players. Boothie says, I believe we take a big offensive lineman in the first round. I'm going to agree with you, Booth. I'm going to totally agree with you on that one because Dan Moore, that guy that they draft will be a starter automatically and will be better pass protection than Dan Moore. Dan Moore will be your second tier depth offensive lineman. I have to check. Like I said, I'm going to check with the linemen because the couple of the linemen that they put in are going to be starting. So hey, Sean Robinson, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B experience. Yeah, the lineman that they got, the one they got from Philadelphia, Sulamo, he is going to be starting guard with him and Daniels. So they're gonna have to. I think they got the best depth they have right now on the offensive line, and we shall see. But next week, I will give an in-depth offensive line that the Steelers have going into the draft, and I will also give you guys all the receivers that we have next week. So tune in next week, and I will have that information for you. I probably know most of it offhand, but I want to get to some other stuff here, and I want everybody's opinion because I wrote a lot of opinions down for that. Let's go. Steelers Freak. Food for thought. If the Steelers get the 7th seed and wins their first game, most likely to go to Arrowhead. If this team has to be able to score 27 points or more than what we need, yes. But also, too, let's look at it this way, Steelers Freak. If the Steelers go to Arrowhead, as we saw in the Super Bowl, they have to stop Travis Kelce. They did not stop him, and Patrick Mahomes did not have the receivers and have the players that he had. He is a great quarterback. I understand that. but also, too, the Philadelphia Eagles did not show up defensively with that big defensive line that they had. So I think the Steelers play them good except for that last playoff game. The Steelers have beaten them at home. The Steelers have not beat Patrick Mahomes as of yet. As of yet. Jeff Blaystone, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Experience. Kelvin, thank you sir, for showing up for the Triple B Experience. So I would say I don't want us to 7th seed, but if we go, I think offensively we just pound the ball, Steelers freak, in a playoff game. Take time off the clock, and you put Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines is the way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know they're going to sign some players, but realistically, let's look at it this way. There are 2 players, Mahomes and Kelsey. You know, I mean, Juju was coming on a little bit there. He got a little nice paycheck out of going to New England, but he wasn't a factor. Yeah, that's right, Kev. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So, you know what, though, Steelers freak, I don't care who we play or how we get in, as long as we get in the playoffs. We need to get in the playoffs, and we need a playoff win. That is the big thing that we haven't had in 6 years, 10 years. It's ridiculous. Like, the standard is not the standard. The standard is not mediocrity in the regular season. So what? Look what happened this year. This is the year right now that no Pittsburgh team has been in the playoffs. No Pens. The Steelers, nothing. You know, people are counting on this around the area to rally around to watch the Pens, and look what happened. They shit the bed. The Steelers was waiting on who was we waiting on? The Jets game or somebody. We had to wait. Kev says we're going to win 11 games this season. Those 11 games, I agree with you. I don't know who we're going to win for 11 games. I'm going to do a show about that when we get their schedule out. But yes, with 11 games, and right now with the Ravens in dire needs with their quarterbacking situation, doesn't matter. They can put Huntley in. I don't care. I don't care if they have Lamar Jackson or whatever, because TJ Watt will feed him his lunch. So we gotta try to sweep or try to split with Cincinnati. If we split with Cincinnati and we beat the shit out of the Ravens and Cleveland, and we beat the people that we need to beat this year, we could take this division. Exactly, and that's the bottom line. Yes, get in the playoffs. Chris Anderson, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Now, I know I did some stuff the other day about on my Facebook. I did something about the Steelers Mount Rushmore. Who would you put on for the Steelers Mount Rushmore? Now, I know it's going to be very, very hard because the Pittsburgh Steelers have the most players in the Hall of Fame ever. The Pittsburgh Steelers during the 70s was the greatest dynasty team ever. In my eyes, in my heart, and in my soul, that's the way it was. There has been so many great Steelers. You know, Steelers don't win a playoff game. Yeah, we can't have that. We have to get into the playoffs and win. Tomlin has to get his troops in order and win a game. I don't care about the regular season. But also, too, let me see. I got my Steelers Mount Rushmore, and I will give it to you guys first. And I got everybody. Colbert says Cincinnati isn't going to be great this year. I don't think so either. Now, I have my 4 that I'm going to pick, and it took me a long time. And it was, look, there's Larry. We can get there, Bubba. They can get as many good players as they want. It starts at the top, then coaching. Yes, I'm not I have issues with our coaching sometimes. I really do. And it's very hard. But the Pens got rid of everybody that they didn't get to the playoffs. First time in 17 years, and they did some spring house cleaning. The Steelers do not do that, and that sometimes is a shame. But I have thought very, very hard. Like I said, for my Mount Rushmore, there is a lot of Steelers that I'm missing, a lot of Steeler greats. It's just so. But my the Bubba Brewer's Mount Rushmore, and I got everybody's stuff here too. And if you didn't put it on my Facebook, please put it on this Facebook site, and I will read it off. My Steelers Mount Rushmore is Joe Green, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowls. Green was the architect of the great Steeler defense, and Franco Harris was, by God, it's Franco. And my last one in the modern era is my man, Big Ben Roethlisberger. Those are my 4. It was very, very hard. I love Lambert, Webster, Blyer. I love everybody that's been a Steeler. It's a very hard to pick these. Okay. But I got Andre Williams. He did it twice. Okay. Andre took Art Rooney Sr., Myron Cope, the Steelers logo, and the Steelers Super Bowl trophies. Okay. Steeler Freak. Green, Lambert, Swan, Stallworth. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got Bradshaw in there. You put 5. That's I give it to you. I'll give it to you. It's very all old school. Okay. Kevin said we've been a good offensive line. We're going to shock a lot of people. Yes. And all of those 4 were excellent picks. Thanks, Larry. It's hard though, Larry. It's very, very hard. And like I said, Andre Williams, he gave me 2, and he went with there was too many good players to single out. Now, Chris, I know you're on here. Chris Anderson, he took Noel Cowher, Franco, and Terry Bradshaw was his. John Deegan had Polamalu, Harris, Lambert, and Green. These are all good picks, people. These are all good picks. Andy Dorshik had Rooney, Cope, Franco, and Noel. Oh, Benjamin, I still don't know what you're smoking. I don't think we're going to go 17-0, Benjamin. I love your tenacity. How about how about 13-4 maybe? I'll take that. Eric Steele had Green, Webster, Polamalu, and Bradshaw. That's what he had. Okay, Steve Montgomery had Franco, Mean Joe Green, Noel, and Big Ben. You want to? Larry goes. You want to go old school with the Steel Curtain team? So yes, Larry, the Steel Curtain. Curtis Randolph took all 4 members of the Steel Curtain. So you took them too. There's 2. My sister Kelly Brewer took Green, Franco Harris, Big Ben, and I tell you what, Kelly, you are the only one out of the people that wrote down on my social media site that I put down on this paper. You are the only one that has taken somebody that has been playing right now, a recent player. She took TJ Watt. Not a bad pick, Cal. It's your pick. It's your opinion. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Okay. Brian Burns, who never gets on this show, but he's so busy, he took Green, Lambert, Bradshaw, and Noel. That's who he took. Mr. Colbert Sr.'s took Bradshaw, Troy, Big Ben, Harris, Green, and L.C. Greenwood. Okay. He had 1, 2, 3. He had an extra one, but that's okay. I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5 because it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick old school Steelers, recent Steelers. Okay, so Andre Williams back again because he felt bad. He took Polamalu, Franco Harris, Hines Ward, and Joe Green because he went with players this time. So Glenn Luger picked Green, Lambert, Webster, and Bradshaw. All good picks. Everybody's got great picks. Big Mike Laria, he picked Lambert, Ward, Polamalu, and Big Ben. Philip Bender, God bless you, Phil. He took Rooney Sr., Art Rooney Sr., Myron Cope, Green, and Noel. Ken Downs. Ken from Altoona. He took Joe Green, Webster, Lambert, and Harris. Dave Brown took Mean Joe Green, Webster, Lambert, and Harris. Okay. Boothie. Boothie took Mean Joe Green, Lambert, Webster, and Big Ben. And Chris says Mel Blatt and Rocky Blyer belong there as well. Yeah, I know, but you got to put 4, and maybe if you could chisel another head to get 5. Beth Bodsford Booth, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, we are giving our picks for our Steeler Mount Rushmore, Beth. So if you could think of some Steelers that you would want to put on the Mount Rushmore of your Steelers team, write it down, and I will present it to the masses. I'm doing good, Beth. Hopefully everything's good. Now, Aaron King took Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, Bradshaw, and Lambert. Like I said, guys, all these picks for the Steelers Mount Rushmore. Like my sister had the only recent pick with TJ Watt. Everybody, including myself, had Big Ben. Some people had Hines Ward. There is not a bad pick anywhere that anyone has given. So, I mean, I appreciate everybody from writing it down. I had to write it down again, but that's just how I am. But yes, that my Steeler Mount Rushmore pick right now, as I let off this little segment, was Mean Joe Green. Because if it wasn't for him getting drafted in 1969, leading that Steelers defense, I don't know where we would be. I would be a kid crying in the 70s, and whatever. And Franco Harris, of course, you know, they always went to the playoffs, and his immaculate reception, and he was just a powerhouse of a running back. Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowl victories, you know, and then my man, Big Ben, 18 years, 20 years, All of Famer, first-time ballot going in, 2-time Super Bowl champion, because I blame that fumble on Mendenhall, even though Big Ben threw 2 picks. But that was my 4. Okay, let's see. What gets me nervous about the ball control? Oh, okay. Well, we can't score. We got to score quick though. It's a different year. Can't go back. Cannot go back. We have to go forward. Steelers freak. We got to go forward. We got to get to the playoffs and then win, and we'll go from there. And I'm happy with 24 points averaging in the game though. So I appreciate everybody that took the time to actually write their Steelers pick. If anybody wants to pop on and say their Steelers pick, I'll read it real quick. Beth, if you're still on, and you can think if you want to put your 4 Steelers on there, or I will recite it. Your Steelers for your Steelers Mount Rushmore. You know, but anyway, hey, you can't go wrong. We got 2 weeks for the draft. Next week, I will talk about the depth. Oh, here we go, Beth. Here we go. Oh, Beth says Joe Green, Rod Woodson. That's the first one for Rod. Troy Polamalu and Big Ben. Those are great. Those are great picks, Beth. You're the first one to say Rod Woodson. Yeah. Scotty Cowboy Beck, what's up? How you doing? Wayne says from Philadelphia, Terry Bradshaw, me, Joe Green, Franco Harris, Troy Polamalu. Okay. Benjamin says 42-7. He's given high picks. Benjamin, you always pick the Steelers to blow people out and to go undefeated. And God bless you. That's why you're a vital part of this broadcast with the Steelers loyalty that you love so much. You have your own wrestling, or you have your own, wrestling. I'm watching wrestling. You have your own football site where you're a Steeler fan, and then he talks about Steelers football 24/7. And Craig from Patton, Bradshaw, Swann, Ward, and Polamalu. Great. Speaking of Troy Polamalu, if anybody's seen his little interview that he had with Ike Taylor and Ryan Clark, where he felt so honored that he was the man for the defense, but he started crying because he didn't think he was good enough to be the man in charge of the Steelers defense. Wow. Talk about being humble. And Troy is a good pick. Troy was in my top pick, but he didn't make the 4 though, but it's so hard. And I'm a big Jack Lambert fan too, and Jack didn't make it. But I mean, it's very, very hard. So, hey, I know I'm going to get out of here real quick, but I know I have the Indiana County radio stations. I got nominated for the best podcast. I'm going against karaoke. I'm going against my brothers, the Steelers Round podcast, and I'm going against a sex guru lady, which, no offense, the only 2 shows that actually has run a podcast this year is myself and the Steelers Round podcast. The two other podcasts have not run a show this year, so I'm a black dark horse coming out, rise of the Phoenix, and if I win, my lovely face will go on their program that they have to spend everything. Oh, my nephew TJ, who's recovering from a shoulder injury, TJ Tagliani says Mean Joe Green, Bradshaw, Blunt, and Franco Harris. My nephew was the first one to say Mel Blunt. Mel Blunt was a devastating cornerback, and that's why all the rules were changed because of Mel Blunt. So, and TJ does know his football, being an ex-college football player, way more athletic than I ever was. But if you see it on Facebook, go to Indiana County. Try to vote for me. If I win, I win. I don't care. Vote for Pedro. Yes. Vote for me. I'll do a little dance. It would be cool to have my smiley face in the Renda Broadcasting Media Guide all over Indiana County. But thanks. Second place is for loose. I don't care, Lair. I don't care. Oh, yeah. Hit like a lumberjack. I wouldn't want to be hit by him. I got a couple concussions as it is, Steelers freak. Troy was devastating. So, yes, I just, like I said, next week will be receivers, depth in receivers and depth in the offensive line and get ready for the draft. And I don't know if Omar Khan is going to sign any more Steelers because I tell you what, this season and last season has been chaotic. The offseason has been so chaotic for me to keep up with the Steelers news. It's crazy. We got a new punter. For some competition. We got a receiver on trade, Aaron Robinson from the Rams. I think he could be something, but realistically, we got him. We're only paying $5 million. But that's how it goes. So anybody, like I said, hit the like, smash the YouTube subscribe button. Oh, thanks. Thanks. I try. Troy Fritz, thanks for tuning in, Troy. I try. Hit the smash button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'll be on Spotify on the audio. If you guys just happen to jump on, I do replays. If you miss something, go back and watch it again. I'm sure maybe I missed something. Hey, Troy, how you doing? I'm sure I missed something because I actually critique myself on all these shows. So, an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl, Benjamin says. Well, if it is, we're going to beat the Eagles, Benjamin. But I don't think we're going to go 17-0. And when you roll your fatty up too much, let your weed expand. I believe we're going to be good, but we are not going to go undefeated. But have a drink for me there, Benjamin. Have one for me. So everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will see you guys Friday for my Pulp Culture Triple B Experience show where we talk pulp culture and wrestling and talk about The Mandalorian because today is the season-ending Season 3 Mandalorian. And if you don't know that, I'm not going to spoil it, but I will spoil it Friday. I just want to let you know. So make sure you watch it if you jump on Friday. And 420 is near, Scott Beck says. Yes, that's all Benjamin there. But like I said, please hit like, subscribe, vote for me so I can be the dark horse and I get my beautiful face on a picture of Indiana County because I know they don't want me there because all my stuff is raw, uncut. But it is what it is. But I appreciate all you Steeler fans for tuning in. I loved everybody's pick for their Mount Rushmore for the Steelers. And I will see you guys next week. You guys have a great night, a better tomorrow. This is Bad Bubba Brewer, and you were watching the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, where this guy is a diehard fucking Steeler fan, and I know you guys are too, and we are going to get ready in 2023 because it's going to be a good year. I can't wait for the draft. The draft shows it coming live with Steelers Round Podcast, boys. So everybody, have a great night. I'll get out of here. I had no technical difficulty. God bless America. Thank you. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. See you guys.